excited about AGUI, and we'll get into it in just a second. I'm letting in more people. Be here for the community and just talk about AGUI. So first up, let's Mark Fogel, are you here?
Yep. Is my audio coming through okay?
Yeah. I just couldn't see your video. Awesome. Yeah, so real quick, if you want to share your screen and tell us what you've been working on, that would be awesome. And then anyone else who wants to sign the agenda, we can hit up your questions. And then I'll stop presenting.
All right, can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yep. All right, yes. So a little bit about me, Contextables, this kind of thing that I've spun up for side projects. Agentic isn't my normal workday activity. I'm actually a mobile developer for SAP, have been for the last 15 years or so, focused mostly on Android. More recently on there, I had up the effort to develop the Android SDK that they use to develop their internal mobile apps as well as share with customers. Also joined by my collaborator on this side, Fakir. He's done, we'll get into demos, but he's done most of the integrating the Dojo demo work. There's his info. Just a brief timeline. This started Saturday. Had the text events working the next day. Sad joined a couple days after that, then just adding demos, tool integration. You can see the branch there that has the current work. Hopefully, one of the things we'll be focusing on is just getting that more integrated with the main AGUI project, but we're already well on our way. I wanted to go a little bit into the code.
And Mark, I wanted to hop in real quick. So you're working on the ADK integration, right?
Yeah, so here, hopefully you can see this screen now with the repo on it.
Yep.
Yeah, so, just going a little bit into what's there now. So still working on full event translation back and forth, doing some added session management on top of what ADK already has in there. Hopefully everybody's familiar with ADK and I don't have to explain that. Multi-agent support, you'll see that in the demo. State synchronization, I'm interested to see what Master is doing there because that's something that we're interested in as well. The real gem here, though, is the bidirectional tool support. I'll just take a look briefly at the code there. So we're actually sending the tools over from the client side and then dynamically wrapping them for ADK. Put in a couple of proposals on the protocol, just things that would be useful to have, just because ADK can distinguish between long-running and non-long-running tasks. So right now we're just treating everything as long-running, just so we can do the human-in-the-loop stuff. But yeah, just wrapping up the functions dynamically and then handling the kind of the translation between the two worlds in here. So if you're interested in what's the most interesting part of the repo, it's the tool wrapping stuff. So no tools are configured on the agent side on ADK. It all comes over. Well, I mean, they could if they had server-side tools, configure them there. It handles mixing and matching the server-side and the client-side tools. But it wraps all of the client-side tools dynamically. So now if Syed is ready.
Yep. Can you hear me, Mark?
Yep.
So let me share my screen.
Yeah, and Syed, did you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, basically I am Fakar, Syed Fakar is my full name. and I work for AirTech Inc. AirTech Inc. is a company that is partnered with Google, and since we are partnered with Google, so we always have to use Google services. So that's why we came up with this agentic ADK integration with this AGUI protocol, right? So
Awesome.
let me share my screen. My screen is visible to you guys?
Yep.
Yes. So this is Dojo application. We have added one more ADK middleware here, and right now we have integrated 3 demos for this ADK. One is simply text chat. For example, let me show you what is the capital of USA. So it is taking some time because right now I am connected with the Google Vertex AI, and it is taking some time to authenticate. That's why it's taking time, but it will respond. Yes. So this is the text integration demo for this ADK. And now if we go to the human in loop, this one, let me type a query: how to cook pizza. So, and one more thing, we have not changed any code from the front end side. We are just using the default source code.
Nice. And if anyone has any questions for Saeed and Mark as they present, just we're trying to be fairly informal and work as a group.
So did you guys work on this together?
Yeah, well,
Mark and Saeed?
entirely informally. Actually, I've never met Syed before this call right now, and kind of in person. We've just been back and forth on Discord over the past few days.
This is awesome.
Wow, that's cool.
So just a question here. The Vertex adapter or whatever you're using kind of behind the scenes, is it just a latency thing? Is this a network call? What's this latency that we're experiencing right now?
Well, I don't know the issue behind this, but I am getting a warning that you are authenticated with the Google default ADC connector. That's why it takes some time.
Okay.
But I will figure it out what is happening behind it. But I think if you use Google API key, then it will work fine normally.
Okay.
So this is the demo for human in loop. I curated how to cook pizza, and it came up with 10 steps, and I deleted these steps, and then it went back to respond me. I know there is some improvement for prompt fine tuning that I have not done in the backend side, but that's not a big deal. We can handle with that. So, and this is the second demo, and now we have the third demo. That is tool-based generative UI. For example, let's generate a haiku on artificial intelligence. Oh, that's the issue.
So I'm curious, in your collaboration together, like how many hours did it take you? Did you work together? Or was it just
asynchronous? I mean,
okay.
Syed's 12 hours away from me, so not a lot of overlap. Just entirely informally through our PRs, through Discord. Yeah.
Wow,
and I think this is some problem with the UI side. I have not checked what is the problem, because it goes outside of these boundaries. So yeah, nevertheless. So this is the demo. This is the third demo for the tool-based generative UI. So,
and I have one more demo that kind of shows off that the latency can be pretty low. It's kind of one of my alternative UI demos. I'll just.
Are you going to pull up, Mark?
I am an AI voice assistant powered by. Right there.
Hold on. Yeah. Yeah. I'm not going to. Well, I can actually go back briefly to the slides just to talk about what's next.
And I think the blur in your background is preventing us to see your phone.
Oh, okay. You don't really need to see it. It's more the audio. But let me,
Okay.
get back into presenter mode here.
Stephen Price asked, he saw marketing materials when CopilotKit was launched. I'm guessing you mean AGUI, that mobile clients were on the roadmap, and mobile clients were asking for contributions. So it is on the roadmap, but that's kind of what this working group is about, is we're going to kind of walk through a sign-up sheet, and like Mark and Saeed, they're working on ADK. We're also working with ADK's team. Okay, cool. And so if there's, and Stephen Hartland, if you need the link to the doc, I'll just put it back in the chat so that you can, if there's anything that you want to contribute or start working on a contribution, sign up under where it says sign up, and then that lets the rest of the group know what you're working on. And so that's kind of the process that we've started, just so that we could make the contributions more organized. So
and Nathan, before, like, I want to speak with, like, on this ADK contribution and figure out how we publish it, add it to the GitHub, test it, all these things. Tyler, Marcus, do you guys have any thoughts on what this process could look like?
I think Steven's going to talk a little bit about this, but I think that what could be good is to connect you with the ADK team, because one thing that Steven is doing right now is adding support for Pydantic AI, and he's actually been working directly with their team, such that any PRs that are relevant to Pydantic AI can be merged appropriately, and so on and so forth. So like any changes you may need to make to ADK, having some kind of like representative over there, I think could be pretty cool.
I have some contacts on that team. I mentioned to Nathan, we know some people in common. I reached out to them to let them know about today. Alan, I don't know if you're on the call or not, but yeah, I let them know what we were doing, and I'll share the recording. Assuming we were able to get the recording going, I can share this with them later.
Oh, nice. Yeah, we're talking with Alan.
Okay. Yeah. So yeah, I met him back at I/O last 2 months ago.
Oh, cool. Nice.
So yeah. Anyway, yeah, just real quick on what's next. More events. So it's already showing off the basics of Vertex running there. Everything I've done so far has just been developed locally, running in Fast API. But yeah, shared state. And then I just wanted to show this one more thing.
Hi, I am an AI voice assistant powered by Twilio and AGUI. Ask me anything.
Yeah, what's the current state of agentic AI?
Okay, let's break down the current state of agent AI. It's a rapidly evolving field, so current is a bit of a moving target. But I can give you a good overview as of late 2024. Key aspects of agent AI right now. Definition, at its core.
Yeah, let's talk about the core definitions. What's going on there? I might have crashed.
All right, let's dive into the.
Anyway, you kind of get the picture there. But yeah, so that's.
Mark, do you want to talk about how you got mobile to work?
Oh yeah, I could pitch that. I mean, if you go to the GitHub there, the same one that has the ADK middleware, there's also I mean, the first thing I did was actually like a Kotlin multi-platform binding. So, yeah, I mean, that's kind of brute force mobile. I mean, it runs on Android, runs on desktop JVM, should run on iOS. I haven't actually been able to try it out. But yeah, if anybody's just looking for like something that runs on mobile, it runs on mobile. There's a basic chat client. It doesn't do a whole lot else. But what I just showed there was actually, that's Twilio's, Twilio's conversation relay product, like 50 lines of JavaScript, just using the TypeScript API in this case for AGUI. No changes to the SDK, the TypeScript SDK.
Nice.
That's
yeah.
awesome. Stephen Price, since you asked the question about mobile, maybe Mark, if you're open to it, is your repo open source or?
Yeah, I mean, it's on the same, the links, I put the links to, well, to this, the ADK middleware and the KMP binding, those are in the builders channel on the Discord.
Okay, got it. Nice.
They're both open for anybody who wants to take a look or contribute. Or, I mean, especially on the iOS side, I don't have an iOS development environment available for side projects. So anybody who could just, it should just technically just work, but that remains to actually be seen.
Wow, very cool. Yeah, so if anyone wants or isn't a part of our Discord, two things. You should check out the AGUI repo, and it's I'll put a link to the docs here in the chat, and then we also have Discord where we can all meet up there and start chatting after this call, which is awesome, Mark and Saeed, that you've already connected. Yeah, so that's really cool. All right. Does anyone have
And
any
by the way,
questions?
guys, sorry, before we move on, so Mark and Saeed, would you guys be comfortable with like us publicizing this? Because I think one route is to go through the ADK team and to let's see if they are able to help us out, and we are, and how fast or slow they are on this. But we anyway could launch this as like a community contribution middleware.
Yeah.
That'd be, I'm fine with that. I'll let Saeed comment as well.
Yeah, so no problem.
Cool. Tyler.
You have to. I'm gonna give a quick demo for the monster stuff. I have to go in like 3 minutes, so I just wanted to go ahead and give that demo off, and then I'll kind of hand it back off to the community.
Cool.
Any problems with that?
No, go for it.
Okay, awesome. Let me just get everything pulled up. Give me 1 moment.
By the way, if everyone doesn't know Tyler, you've probably talked to him in either the CopilotKit Discord or the AGUI Discord. Tyler is Tyler from CopilotKit.
Hey, everyone. So you might have seen me in Discord. Okay, cool. I'm just going to do a quick demo, talk about it a little bit, and go from there. So this is CopilotKit's with Mostra repo. It's just a quick starter, basically. I'm going to link the code here in a little bit, but if you do want to get started, you can just go to our repo and play around with it. This is using AGUI behind the scenes. This is basically a proverb agent. So you can see here we have shared state. I'm going to ask it to add some proverbs about food to memory. This is built off of Mostra's working memory concepts. So basically, you can see here, Mostra has built out memory around tools. So memory is kind of an agentic concept where agents can remember things, and this allows you to structure that memory and update it by tool calls, right? So if you're familiar with something like LangGraph, for example, you need to manually update their state, but the state in Mostra is automatically updated. And what CopilotKit lets you do is also programmatically update that. So, I can remove all of these and that kind of state automatically updates and things like that. Behind the scenes, what's actually happening, I'm going to try to open up this repo. Behind the scenes, what's happening is you can go and check out the shared state branch, clone it, play around with it if you want. We've just connected it to CopilotKit, which is one client, Kotlin's another now. Marcus has been kind of cooking on another client that he might show off. But it's pretty simple. In this situation, we're actually just getting the local agents. So this is all running inside of the Copilot runtime. And the hook for CopilotKit, this is all CopilotKit specific stuff, but I'll get into the AGI stuff here in a second. You just set the state basically through this hook. And what that's doing is sending state snapshot events through our new integration with Mastra that's been updated in AGI. You can go check this out today inside of the TypeScript SDK, inside of our integrations for Mastra, which is a middleware. Inside of here, you can see, that's an example. You can see there's this index.ts, you have Mastra and Utils. Inside of Mastra, there are these basically state snapshot events that are getting emitted based off of their working memory. So basically, we grab the working memory. If the working memory exists, then we send state snapshots of that working memory over the wire. And yeah, pretty simple stuff. We just basically then send that snapshot event out. And this currently works only locally because working memory is not an API. It is currently an SDK-based thing, so you can't edit memory over the wire. So this only works for local agents, but we'll eventually, we're talking with our team to make it so that that can be accessed over the wire such that any AGI endpoint can edit these things without having to have that locally embedded. So pretty simple stuff. I do have like 1 or 2 minutes for questions if anyone wanted to ask some.
Yeah, Stephen Price had a question. Does the Mastra server, let's see, do you the Mastra server side by side with Next.js, or do you add your agents to the next route? Basically, is it server-side rendering?
So there's a bunch of different ways that CopilotKit and Mastra can kind of integrate with one another. Mastra, your agent can serve CopilotKit's runtime directly. That's one option. CopilotKit can now, with this new change, serve Mastra agents directly through our runtime. And then there's kind of a third one, which is you run your Mastra agent remotely, and then you connect to it via a URL. All of this communication is done via AGUI under the hood. It just depends on where the actual agents are executed, but the way they communicate with each other is via AGUI.
Awesome.
Yeah, cool. I do have to hop, but thanks everyone.
Yeah, thanks, Tyler.
Yeah, for sure. And then thanks everyone. Cool. See ya.
Appreciate it. Cool. And Stephen Hartland.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
I'm not doing badly. Not doing badly. It's a bit warm here, but all good. Trying to get things over the line, as you know. So, yeah,
Great.
maybe a quick introduction to myself. Steve, working in a company called Rocket Science at the moment. We do game services and those kind of things, but we've been leveraging AI more and more recently. And we've got a project on the go which needed the front end and back end to connect. We've got some Pydantic back-end agents that we'd already created, and then we saw AGUI pop up on the mix. We thought, okay, well, let's get involved. Let's help support that initiative. So over the past few weeks, I've been working with the folks over at Pydantic to round that all off. We initially started with a stateful solution. It's all now fully unstateful, and that is actually leveraging the new tool set API that is coming very shortly from the Pydantic AI side, which makes the integration a lot more seamless under the hood.
Very cool.
So yeah, so it's delayed it a little bit because there's been a fair bit of refactoring stuff to integrate with the tool set, but it's looking really, really good at the moment. So let me just get a
awesome. Yeah, do you want to share your screen?
Yeah, I'll get a demo up here in a second. Right. So.
And Vakalenka, yes, AGUI does support Crew AI. I can give you one of the open source repos so you can start playing around with it.
Okay. Right. can everybody see that screen?
Yes.
All right, let me throw that over. So we have all elements of the dojo all working. So I will just quickly flick through each of the ones like was done earlier. Let me just get some prompt information here just to make my life a lot easier. There we go. So first one, as I say, it's just a normal kind of back and forwards, but I've leveraged some tool support in there. So let's ask it what the time is. The time is a backend Pydantic AI tool call, so that works as expected. And then from the front end, let's get it to change the front end to blue. So that's the AGUI tool call side of things. But let's get a little fancy and let's combine them all into one. There we go. So that's multiple interactions backwards and forwards between the Pydantic AI side and the AGUI side, leveraging tools across both environments and mixing and matching. So that's all working really nicely. Thank you very much for the recent ad of the results, which kind of enabled that to wire all up, which wasn't possible before.
Wow,
the next
cool.
The next one, obviously, is the agentic back with the planning side of things. So I'll quickly flick through these because we've all seen the same kind of thing before a few times, but just to demonstrate it's all working and cooking nicely. So that's that one. Next one is human in the loop. So I'll get it to generate us a list for running breakfast. So there's been a few little changes and I've got a PR outstanding for this just to fix up some of the interactions on the AGUI side, the wiring up of the confirm button, making it a little bit more seamless. That's currently in draft, but you can do all of the usual things. So you can confirm, you can accept it. That's one of the interactions which was a little bit stuck before I did a few little fixes. That's all working. The predictive state side of things as well, we're using multiple tools and custom events. That's all working too. So let's just grab something there. Oh yeah. Now let me click the other button so you can actually see the text. Yeah, there's a few little quirks with the dark mode. So yeah, that's all working. Yes, I'll confirm on that one. And then we get into the shared state. That's all wired up as well. So that's obviously doing dynamic updates into the UI as well as doing all of the usual kind of bits and pieces. So shared state just works out of the box. That's all leveraging all of the usual kind of Pydantic validation as well. So if you send across invalid shared state, it'll know, it'll reject it. That's actually one of the items that I've got on my list to mention to you folks, being able to retry tool calls, being able to know when tool calls on the AGUI side has actually failed and why. I've not spotted a way so far to determine that kind of directly.
And Stephen, Vakalinka was wondering if you used interrupt in LangGraph for the human in the loop. I think this is all Pydantic, correct?
This is all Pydantic, yeah. So it's fully native Pydantic AI. So it's doing multiple interactions between the front and the back. It's really easy to set up. I'll share another screen in a second. I'll just finish off the last one. So yeah, it's very similar if anybody's used the A2A side of things of Pydantic, where you've got your agent and you just call a method on it and it'll give you back a WASM compatible server that you can fire up under any normal kind of runtime. I'll show that in a second. This is the last one. So yeah, the full kind of interaction there as well. So, yep. Yeah, I'm happy with that one. So we'll go there. So that's the little bit of a demo. I'll switch screens and do a little walkthrough on the code so people can see what it looks like under the hood. 2 seconds.
And Stephen,
Yep.
I'm curious because Pydantic was, I think it was like issue number 5 in AGUI. So it's been there for quite a while. You've been working on it.
Yep.
And then you started working with the Pydantic team themselves. How much time do you think well, first of all, how easy was it to just integrate Pydantic with AGUI and get it to work with the dojo? And then how much time do you think you got into it?
Oh, that's a good question. Initial implementation, as I said, I did initially a stateful one, and that took longer than I would have liked. I'd have said about 3 or 4 days to get that into a relatively decent place. It's the iteration cycles and the change is with regards to bringing in the native toolset support, where we've actually got 2 PRs on the go. The Pydantic team are building out what toolset support means for them, and then I'm kind of syncing up with that and integrating that as those changes happen on the fly. So we've been working on that for a couple of weeks now overall. As folks, or anybody who's worked with the Pydantic side of things know, they're very strong on making sure that it's 100% code coverage in tests and all of those things. So all of those things have added up in the time. I'd say it's been about 100 hours worth of work so far overall to get it integrated. Getting it stood up though, initially, if I'd have taken this approach, I reckon you could have done it in 20 odd hours, and that's with a lot of the testing and stuff involved in there too. Obviously, figuring out the nuances, new to the Pydantic space as well personally, so I was learning the idiosyncrasies of how they like to do and structure their code. But we're in a pretty good state now. Yeah, let me just show you what it looks like.
You have a current PR open?
Yes, there's two PRs open. One on the Pydantic side. I've put the links in the doc. It might be showing as a thing there, right? So,
Yep, it's there. Cool.
yeah. So this is what it looks like in the Pydantic side, right? So you'll just create a normal agent, nothing too hard, and then it's literally a one-liner to get yourself a fully working AGUI. Obviously, this example has got all the step planning side, so it's got all the definitions, which again are leveraging all of the Pydantic validation and stuff. So if any of the data comes in that's a bit funky, it'll reject it and handle all of those kind of cases. Just looking at maybe the human in the loop one. Again, human in the loop's really simple. What else have we got? Wiring up tools on the server side, exactly how you would expect it. And then maybe the predictive state one is a little bit more interesting. So it's got the concept of state dependencies, which is what Pydantic AI uses in the back end of things to pass data around, and it seamlessly integrates that as the messages kind of come in. So if I was to jump in to the code for a second and dig into, where are we? In here, yeah. So that the main method really is in the adapter. The adapter is currently private. It's all exposed via a very small Starlet app, essentially, with all of the options in there. But when it's processing a run, this is the main function that will come through, and essentially it's going to get in the standard AGUI input, and then it does all of its internal processing off the back of that. It's using the encoder, so it's using all of the SDK kind of natively and just doing a small level amount of translation. One of the biggest challenges that we had was making sure that both tool sets play nice. So enabling you to mix and match front-end tools with back-end tools. We've ended up with the back-end tools you can prefix, the front-end tools you can't. That's kind of a restriction because we can't tell the AGUI front end that the tool that they sent us is now a different name. So that there's a small restriction there, but it's fairly easy to get involved. With regards to how it handles state, so obviously it's got a little conversion on the history, but state handler, you can have whatever definition for your state that gets passed along, and all you have to do is implement it as a state handler, and away you go.
Wow, very cool. Does anyone have any questions for Stephen? This is very clean. All right, nice job.
Cool. Yeah, so that's him. We're hoping to get it all ready out for the end of the week, but whether we will or whether we won't is going to be dependent on the tool set side more than this. This is pretty much ready to go.
Very cool. That's exciting. Can't wait to see it get merged. I see Pydantic all over, well, over the past like year, Pydantic is everywhere on Reddit.
Yeah.
And yeah, so this is really exciting.
Yeah. Anthony asked a question, what is Pydantic? They're obviously a team. I think the original name, but they'll correct me if I'm wrong, is a bit of a mix between Python and pedantic. So they want very strong validation in all of the libraries that they write. So it's very famous for its validation library, which is the Python Pydantic library. And then off the back of that, they've implemented other libraries, including the Pydantic AI library, which is the agent in a box kind of thing, which is what this is integrating directly with.
Very cool. Awesome. Thank you so much for presenting. That was great. Matt Sperlin, you had put your name on the sheet, and I was just curious if you have a demo for Golang SDK, or if you're interested in just start working on it.
I don't have a demo yet. I do have it something locally that is basically working.
Awesome.
I'll have something to merge at some point. It's in progress.
Okay,
we'll get
cool.
thoroughly tested, and
Cool.
we'll reach out again once I have more.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Matt, if you need any support, I'm actually a Golang developer by nature and not Python, but I've just picked up Python recently. So, you know, if you want any support on that, let me know, because I've got a little bit of experience in it now.
Great. Once I have the PR open, I'll reach out to you for a review.
Cool, man.
Cool. And Matt, did you open a GitHub issue by chance? We're going to start kind of routing everything through GitHub issues, and then it's going to go from there to the roadmap. We're just getting our process down.
I have not, but I can go ahead and do that.
Okay, great. Thank you. And then Che, you had put your name on the list for architecture discussion and integrations and the future agenda of AGUI. Is that, or do you want to talk about the roadmap? If you're here, Che? I'm guessing it's a roadmap discussion. He may have left. Okay, cool. We've got a few minutes left, and Marcus and Max are here. They're kind of like the AGUI experts. Does anyone have any questions on AGUI?
I'll throw one out there. I kind of mentioned it already, but any thoughts on enabling the communication for tool results to be more rich with regards to failures?
So actually, it's something I didn't think about yet, but I heard you. So basically, you want to know. I mean, when we are communicating the tool results back to the backend, we only have that stringly typed result field, right? Because that's how most of the LLMs would process the tool results. So I guess for you, it would already be, you need some kind of signal that a failure has occurred, right? So like an error field or something like that.
Yeah, an error field. And the reason for it is Pydantic has the ability to retry a failed tool result. So for example, the LLM didn't structure its data correctly is a common one, and it either failed validation or there was, you know, a network use that that meant that the tool didn't actually come through. So having that ability to retry with an updated set of data, or just purely to retry the attempt because it was just an intermittent failure, would really go a long way to building robust systems.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I also think it's going to be easy to add. So I'll take note of that, and you know, we can definitely ship that.
Cool. Mark, you have a question?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was just kind of along the same lines as what Stephen said. I put I don't know if it's the right way to do it, but I put a couple of discussions on the protocol GitHub. Just, ADK has the ability to have both long-running tasks or long-running tools and, you know, kind of immediate return tools. So it'd be useful to be able to express that in the tool definition. And then the other one is, you know, kind of along the same lines as failure. Maybe there's some way to do this that I just haven't figured out, but, you know, just being able to say, is this tool result an interim result, or is this the final result and the tool is now completely finished running? That's another thing that could be leveraged on the ADK side. But anyway, yeah, there's just a couple of discussions on the protocol GitHub that I put up there.
So can ADK give you intermediate updates on a long running thing that's happening on the server? And what would it typically do? Would it typically return the control back to the front end, or would it just, you know, continue running and send streaming updates?
Yeah, it continues running. I mean, the way and this took a while to figure out. If you go through the commit log on my repo, it gets pretty ugly. Just, you know, how they deal with long-running tasks. So basically, a long-running task to the front end, it returns almost immediately. But if the front end is able to do it, it can put like a ticket number in there. So, you know, go to this ticket for an update. It can do something along those lines. But otherwise, it just returns immediately and then posts updates and then eventually finishes with a final status. Versus the non-long-running tool, which I actually, you know, something like the color update in the chat demo, that would be, if I had the ability to, in the tool definition, say, okay, this is an immediate tool, then the ADK part will actually wait, you know, it'll actually suspend the thread in the background, wait for the front end to send in the final update, and then continue going. So to ADK, it looks like it just made a synchronous call if it can complete quickly enough. But yeah, long running is like a fire and forget with then ongoing updates and then one final update, and then the short running tools, those look more synchronous from the ADK side.
It's interesting you should say that, Mark, because that was one of the things that I went backwards and forwards on a few different designs on the Pydantic side, and which is where I settled was it's 100% asynchronous, right? It will just it'll send the request, and if it doesn't get called back, it doesn't care because it's not doing anything. I don't know whether you've got the same capability with ADK or not.
Yeah, I mean, if by default, I mean, that's what it defaults to, because there's really no I mean, we could do some hacky stuff with task naming or prefixes or things like that to say whether it's long running or not. But yeah, I'd rather have that in the protocol and the tool definition. So that I'm just kind of waiting for it. But right now, everything defaults to long running true, and it behaves exactly as what you said.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a related question. Is there any thoughts around having a bidirectional protocol? Because at the moment with SSE that I saw on the Pydantic side, yes, you've got bidirectional communication, but it's not true bidirectional communication, right? The server can't send a result and then get send a request and then get a result back on the same stream. It has to wait for another request to come in for it to receive that response.
Right. So we did think about sending the messages via WebSockets, and I think in the current version there is no run ID or thread ID on the events. We wanted to add that initially, but then we thought, it's just gonna make things too complicated for the beginning. But yeah, this could be one approach. So you could actually, for each event, also add thread ID and run ID, and have the whole thing work over WebSockets as well. But so far, very little thought went into that. So, if anybody has ideas about how this can be done, in a clean way, I'm very interested to hear about that. Grassi, you raise your hand.
Yeah, he was curious about when our headless UI. We've got a big headless UI update that's going to be released soon that Tyler's working on, but Tyler left the meeting.
Oh, okay.
So, do you happen to know, Marcus, what the status is on that?
I think very soon. So I think Tyler spoke about merging it in the next couple of days. So
yeah,
that's all I know.
Awesome. Any other questions? Cool. This has been great. Yeah.
There's some people with hands raised.
Okay. Vakalenka, do you want to ask a question?
Yeah, hi Nathan.
Hey.
What other frameworks are you going to integrate? Is there anything on the roadmap?
Yeah, so we're actually reworking the roadmap, and it's going to end up being in the Google Doc that we sent out earlier today. Right now, it's on the GitHub README, all of the integrations that have already been completed, and then the ones that are in progress, and then the ones that we're asking for contributions. I can give you the link to that repo, but shortly it's going to end up being in this Google Doc.
Yeah, okay. I would like to contribute to any of the frameworks. So if you can update in the Google Docs, I can update it.
Cool. Yeah, we're gonna be doing a few things in the community, like the contributing channel is going to end up becoming a forum style channel, so that anyone who wants to contribute, they basically start a new thread, and then all the communications from them and any other person who wants to like help out or join you in contributing, or if you have any blockers or anything. So that'll end up being today, tomorrow, and so it'll make it a little more seamless for contributing communication. But yeah, we're definitely here to help out. Other community members are here to help you. Which contribution did you want to start working on again?
Yeah, if anything, it's on the framework side, like Steven did for the Pydantic. I would like to do it for any other framework if we have that in agenda.
Got it. Okay. Okay, cool. Are you in our Discord by chance?
No, I have got the link. I will join on it.
Okay, sounds good. Yeah, let's connect there, and then we can figure it out.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Grassy still has his hand up, but I believe we answered his question. Does anyone else have any questions? We're at the top of the hour, so I'll be sensitive to everyone's time.
What's next?
Next up is we're going to have another working group same time next week, and I'll create the event, and then I will post it in our Discord, as well as GitHub. Some people are in GitHub discussions, some people are in Discord, and so I'll post it in both places. And if anyone hasn't started the AGUI repo, it's growing really fast. So if you feel like doing that and you like